alone. Further east, anti-Gaddafi forces are celebrating in the key oil town of Ras Lanuf. They've managed to hang on to the city after repelling an attack by government loyalists. They've vowed to push on to Gaddafi's hometown of Sirte. In Benghazi, funerals have been held for those killed in a blast at a weapons depot. Opposition fighters say pro-Gaddafi forces attacked the store. More than 17 people are thought to have died. Saudi Arabia has banned all demonstrations after a series of minor protests in the oil-producing eastern province. Mainly Shia protesters gathered in the towns of Qatif and Hafuf on Thursday and Friday. They've been demanding the release of all prisoners being held without trial, as well as better access to jobs. Oman's Sultan Qaboos has replaced 2 of his cabinet ministers after days of violent unrest. Protesters there have been calling for more jobs and better political representation. Meanwhile, workers have been staging a sit-in at the main oil field in Hama to demand more investment from the state. In the Egyptian capital, Cairo, state security officers have been set alight, but it's still unclear who started the blaze. It comes after hundreds of protesters occupied the state security building further north in Alexandria. Demonstrators say police had been trying to destroy documents linked to human rights abuses under former President Hosni Mubarak. Meanwhile, Egypt's former Interior Minister has pleaded not guilty to charges of money laundering and profiteering. Habib El-Adli was arrested last month and is widely blamed for a violent crackdown on anti-government demonstrators. His trial is set to continue in April. In Somalia, it's emerged that more than 50 African Union peacekeepers have been killed in fighting there in the last 2 weeks. The deaths come amid a major offensive against al-Shabaab fighters who control large parts of the capital, Mogadishu. Many of those killed are believed to be from Burundi. And China's Premier Wen Jiabao has pledged to reduce inflation and corruption and raise his people's income levels. When told the National People's Congress in Beijing, the measures are necessary to maintain social stability. The theme of happiness, alongside a 5-year economic plan, dominated his address and the start of this year's parliamentary session. Those are the main stories. I'll be back at the top of the hour. Coming up next, it's People and Power.
Hello everyone, this is People and Power and I'm Summer El-Shahat. On today's program, Building Egypt's Future.
محتاجين نكمل الضغط لأن النظام في مصر لسه لم يسقط، يعني النظام في مصر لسه موجود. رجال أعمال لسه موجودين وليهم أذرع في الأحياء وفي المناطق.
A fortnight ago, we showed you a film that we shot exclusively and behind the scenes with young activists from Egypt's April 6th movement. They were among the key players in the uprising that brought down Hosni Mubarak. So how have they fared in the weeks since? Though the news of the president's resignation was greeted with wild jubilation by the mass crowds in Tahrir Square, the revolution itself is far from over. A military council now runs the country, and many of the political and economic conditions that led to the revolt are still in place. The challenge facing the activists and the pro-democracy movement in general is how to build on their gains and secure real and lasting change. But as reporter Elizabeth Jones found out, the cold reality of the morning after is that there is still much to do.
February the 11th, the night Hosni Mubarak fell.
ضحكت من قلبي عمري ما ضحكت بالطريقة ديت فضلنا نهزر وطول الليل ما احناش مصدقين ان الثورة بجد نجحت.
احنا كنا عارفين القرار من قبلها بيوم كنا الجيش مبلغنا بان مبارك هيتنحى قبلها بيوم لكن كان الفرحة الحقيقية لما لقينا الناس بتفرح وبتضحك هي ده كان الفرحة الحقيقية دي.
At that moment it was the happiest moment of my life. I kept screaming and yelling and couldn't keep myself and I went to Tahrir Square right away. But I realized that it was not the end. It was just the beginning.
It's Thursday, February 17th, nearly a week after Mubarak left Cairo. A new era for Egypt means a new home for the April 6th youth movement, whose Facebook campaign helped launch the revolution. This dilapidated building, far from the center of Cairo, has been donated by a supporter as a new headquarters. Members come from across Egypt, including this woman from the far north. April 6th is growing, its recognition and reputation much enhanced. Its founder, Ahmed Maher, has called the core April 6th group together.
السلام عليكم الأول وآسف على التأخير جدا. بيقولوا في مظاهرات في وسط البلد فالدنيا زحمة، يعني مش عارف الناس اللي بيعملوا مظاهرات دول قاصدين يعطلونا يعني على طول باستمرار. طيب
He tells them of his meeting with the ruling High Military Council. Revolution, it seems, has turned into a series of meetings.
عايز بس اتكلم على المقابله دي عشان دي مقابله مهمه جدا. المقابله دي مهمه جدا نحدد بيها الفتره الجايه تكون عامله ازاي، مطالبنا. فقلنا النهارده القعده مع الجيش رقم 0 مش رقم 1، يعني النهارده تعارف ودردشه. تفاوض هيكون بعد كده وهيكون معلن.
Maher wanted 3 demands urgently addressed: the repeal of the emergency law, the freeing of political prisoners, and the creation of a government of technocrats.
اتكلمنا عن الحكومه والمفروض تتشكل وزاره براي الائتلاف او بمشاركه القوى السياسيه عموما. فيعني قالوا طيب احنا محتاجين وزاره دلوقتي حاليا عشان تسيير اعمال، وقلنا ان هي تسيير اعمال لغايه ما يكون في وزاره جديده. فقلنا برضو محتاجين يبقى قلنا ايه اسبوع اسبوعين شهر نعرف امتى الوزاره دي هتستمر وامتى تمشي. فوعدوا بالرد في الاجتماع الجاي. فوق النهارده على فكره بس ما حدش عبرنا.
Already the High Military Council is reneging on its promises.
مهم سالنا برضو عن المعتقلين. قالوا فاحنا يعني في خلال يومين بالكثير قوي يوم الجمعه هيكون كل اللي اتمسك بعد 25 هيخرج.
The April 6th activists are creating new slogans now, this time against all the apparatchiks of Mubarak's regime who are still in place. Same police, same state security, same politicians. But what power do they have to change all this?
ولكن الضمانه الوحيده ان المطالب دي تتحقق بالفعل ان الناس تفضل في الشارع والناس تستمر في المطالبه بهذه الاصلاحات او المطالب. بالتاكيد هنكون موجودين في الشارع بصوره كبيره لغايه ما نضمن المطالب دي تتحقق بالكامل. فاعتقد ان لسه محتاجين ضغط شويه. في بعض الناس متخوفين من ان الجيش لا يستجيب لهذه المطالب وان هو قد يكون لا يعي او غير مقتنع بالمطالب الديمقراطيه، ولكن احنا يعني معتقدين ان مع استمرار الضغط هيؤدي لنتائج كويسه.
The next day, Friday, an estimated 2 million people have come out to celebrate the triumph of the revolution and to commemorate those who died. This sign reads, "We won't forget, we won't sell out. The blood of the martyrs will not be lost."
كان في رهان من جانب الجيش ومن جانب ناس كتير ان احنا مش هنقدر ننزل على الاعداد دي تاني، لكن الحمد لله بعد التحرك دوت اعتقد ان دي رساله واضحه جدا للجيش ان الناس نازله والناس مصره على مطالبها واهمها هي رحيل حكومه شفيق والافراج عن كل المعتقلين السياسيين.
Only through the power of the people does the April 6 movement have any power itself. All the youth groups who played a role in toppling Mubarak